Hello, everyone. I want to talk about one of the topics that really intrigues me lately, AI note takers and their role in the financial advisory and banking world. One of the really interesting thing about these is these note takers are popping up everywhere. They're appearing in your Zoom calls, your Teams calls, when you're hopping on somewhere. But what's the right place for them? So I was kind of joking, like it's listening now, right? That's the number one thing. These are everywhere, and we're going to see just a continued growth of them. They're not going away. Now, the question is, how does an advisory practice figure out how to bring this in? How does your business look at this? In my nonprofit, we use it to record meetings. It helps summarize it and distribute it out. Now, in the advisory world, there's a little bit different of a focus, right? What are the rules, right? How does the SEC or other regulatory bodies look at these? Now, right now, there's really not a specific SEC rule that's designed around AI note takers, right? No specific regulations as it relates to this. Now, that doesn't mean existing SEC regulations don't apply. Of course they do. But what are the benefits? Why would we look at some of these note-taking AI tools? So efficiency, making you more efficient, pulling the notes together, getting them into the system, moving things forward. I think the next one, though, is really important. If you have an AI note taker, you can pay attention to the meeting. You can pay attention to your client, the words they're saying, how they're reacting, their emotions, their body language. You can be engulfed in the meeting instead of worrying about what you're writing down. Am I going to miss something? Did I miss a number? Did I miss a name? This is doing that for you. So more efficiency, right? Less need for other resources, making you a better listener in the meeting. It helps with recording it, so making sure of accuracy, right? Getting the right thing recorded at the right time. And these can start to help workflows, push work forward more effectively and faster. So a lot of really great, use cases for these tools. And you're going to see more and more of these tools actually start off and kick off workflows. I've talked to a number of advisory firms that are actually using it or have tried to use it to kick off workflows. I know some that have started and stopped, but this is out there. Now, let's talk about this too, right? Drawbacks. What are the drawbacks? What if these tools start making recommendations? What if they start moving things forward that weren't supposed to be started yet, right? Inaccuracies, right? What if it is recording, messing up a word, it gets recorded inaccurately and moves the notes forward? Documentation, which is a great plus and minus. But as you know, sometimes you don't want everything documented in writing, and sometimes you do. So this is a challenge point of how much documentation, how little documentation, what is the right type of documentation, how are you going to store that documentation can be a challenging point. Privacy. This is a big issue for client. How is that data being stored and eventually leveraged or used, right? What's the security around this information, right? What is happening on the back end, and can we protect that information, especially in client meetings? And then how is it being stored? Are you bringing it into your own CRM? Is there any digital recording and storage of it, even if you don't think there is? Now, the SEC rule 204-2 really talks about, in part, books and records and when to keep this information. So the short answer is, right, the SEC would definitely says today that these AI transcriptions in client meetings with an advisor are going to count and be needed to be recorded for books and records. So we need to have a reasonable belief that they're true and accurate, that these transcriptions are going to count, and then we need to figure out where we're going to store them in our own CRM, in that system, but where are we going to bring this into our books and records? And do we have reasonable belief that they are accurate? So, and any notes we make also need to be stored of changing them, right? So if we go in and change, hey, this word wasn't right, that notation and change is also stored appropriately. I also think from a best practice moving forward, right, client consent, that they are also aware, that we give them notice of this, that they understand the privacy and policies, the data storage. All of that really needs to be disclosed, upfront, available, typically in a link that they can click. But we need to track that. I think that's going to be very important, right? Make sure that we have a way to bring this into the books and records and store it, that we're not losing it, including notes or edits that we make to them. And then I think the other one that's really important here is make sure that we're eliminating, avoiding, or reducing any potential conflicts of interest that could arise due to these AI note-taking applications. But here's the big picture. These are coming. Organizations are looking at how to use these more effectively today. And in our space, we do have to pay attention to regulations and make sure we're meeting the current regulations as it applies to new tools and technology, like AI note-taking software. But expect to see a big, robust expansion of these next year. More firms trying to adopt them, more firms trying to kick off workflows and make their firms more efficient and allow you as an advisor to be more present with your clients than ever before. But I do think we have to be very careful to not overstep with clients and make sure that your clients are actually comfortable with this before moving forward. Not every client's going to be comfortable with it. And I do think for good reasons, clients could have hesitation around this for a while. So thanks for watching. Love to hear your feedback, how you're using it, where you see the future of AI note-taking tools. Again, I'm Jamie Hopkins. Thank you for watching. Stay safe and healthy, my friends.